Imagine this. You walk into an Apple store. The air is charged with a sense of innovation and cutting-edge technology. The open, sleek design of the space invites you in. Employees, dressed not in stuffy suits but in cool, casual uniforms, are bustling around, ready to share their tech wisdom. There's an unmistakable hum of energy. The meticulously placed rows of shining new devices are a testament to creativity and forward-thinking design. It all screams modern, innovative, and customer-focused. Every detail, right down to the lighting, is designed to make you feel a certain way. Excited, intrigued, ready to embrace the future. It's more than a store, it's an experience. And that experience isn't a random happenstance. It's a carefully crafted atmosphere, a direct result of choices made in organizational design and culture. Now let's shift our view. Instead of the sleek modern Apple store, imagine you're walking into a traditional law firm. An atmosphere of formality and gravitas hits you as you enter a high-ceilinged room lined with mahogany bookshelves filled with heavy legal volumes. Employees in business attire move around with a measured pace and purpose, exuding an air of prestige and authority. Everything here screams tradition, respect, and meticulousness. There's a stark contrast between this environment and the Apple store we just left. The focus is less on innovation and more on expertise, stability, and heritage. The space is designed to evoke trust and confidence, leveraging tradition and long-standing professional norms. The law firm is a clear example of a different type of organizational design and culture, one steeped in tradition and formality as opposed to the forward-looking, casual culture of Apple. These two contrasting environments serve as our doorway into the fascinating world of organizational design and culture. They show how different design choices and cultural values can shape the atmosphere of a place and the experience of both employees and customers. In today's lecture, we'll discuss three core components of organizational design and behavior: organizational design, organizational culture, and climate. Starting with organizational design, we'll discuss the key building blocks that influence design: formalization, centralization, departmentalisation, and span of control. And we'll explore how these elements combine to form a continuum of organizational design, ranging from organic to mechanistic designs. Next, we'll shift our focus to organizational culture, understanding its functions and structures through the lenses of Sheen's structural model and Hatch's model of cultural dynamics. Finally, we'll explore the concept of climate, examining its intricate relationship with culture, as well as its potential positive and negative impacts on organizational outcomes. We'll start off by thinking about how organizations can be structured. When considering an organization's design, there are certain building blocks to consider that may influence how the organization functions. Formalization. This is the rule book. How strictly are job roles defined? Centralization. Who makes the decisions? Is it the top brass or a more collective effort? Departmentalisation. It's about team formation. Do we group by function, product, or region? And then span of control. This is about managerial reach. How many individuals does one manager oversee? Formalization is all about how defined and standardized job roles are in an organization. Imagine two salespeople working in a big shop, one from the electronics department and one in clothing. Even though they handle different products, if both have a set list of tasks to accomplish every day and a specific way to attend to customers or process returns, that's the essence of formalization. But why does this matter? By having standardized roles, it makes training easier. When one employee moves to another branch or even another department, they don't have to start from scratch. They already know the drill. This ensures consistency in service and experience for the customers, no matter which branch or department they visit. Moreover, it's also about clarity. With defined roles, there's less ambiguity. Everyone knows their responsibilities. This rulebook or structure ensures that employees aren't overwhelmed or under-challenged. They have a clear scope of what's expected. While in the world of retail, formalization might be merely useful, there are other professions where it's critical. Think about the last time you boarded an airplane. In the world of aviation, formalization is taken to a whole new level. Consider pilots. Their tasks are incredibly standardized for a crucial reason: our safety. Every pilot, regardless of the airline or route they're on, goes through a rigorous, structured checklist before takeoff and landing. In these high-stakes scenarios, there's no room for interpretation or doing things my way. The skies remain safe because every pilot adheres to this strict formalization, ensuring we land safely at our destinations. But not all jobs are like this. Some roles thrive on low formalization. Imagine being in a bustling tech startup where the core focus is innovation. The employees here aren't just filling slots in a rigid structure, instead they're dynamic problem solvers, and there's a good chance two of them won't approach a challenge in the same way. For these roles, the journey, the how, is fluid and adaptable. What really counts is the destination, or the what. It's all about the end game. Did the software work? Is the app user-friendly? In such environments, the organization throws out the rule book. It encourages exploration. It expects employees to be creative and work in different ways, and in doing so, embraces a less formalized design. Centralization in organizational design pertains to where decision-making power lies within a structure. When we talk about a centralized organization, we're referring to one that's hierarchical. It's designed so that the lion's share of decision-making power is anchored at the top, often with a select group or even a single individual. When a decision needs to be made, rather than being addressed at the point where the issue arises, it travels up the hierarchy. The military and public service are classic examples of highly centralized organizational designs. One defining feature of centralized organizations is that they have a clear chain of command, which paints a clear picture of who has authority to make decisions. The chain of command is an unbroken line that spans from the lowest to the highest levels of the organization, clarifying who reports to whom. In an efficient chain of command, you have what's called unity of command, which ensures that an individual reports to a single supervisor. You don't have, for example, situations where employees are reporting to multiple supervisors and being told different things. This could create role conflict. And we know from earlier lectures that role conflict can reduce motivation and increase stress. So a centralized design offers a level of oversight and control. It ensures that decisions are made after rigorous deliberation and align with the organization's overarching strategy and ethos. In scenarios where consistency, adherence to policy, and risk mitigation are keys to success, a centralized approach can be really effective. Contrast this with decentralized structures. Here, decision-making isn't exclusively an upper management privilege. It's disseminated throughout the organization. A prime example, again, are tech startups, like Facebook in its infancy. They aim to keep a slender team, dispersing responsibilities and ensuring swift adaptability to the rapidly evolving tech world. In essence, centralized structures, while perhaps slower in decision-making, are methodical and crucial in contexts like government, where decisions can bear significant societal implications. Conversely, decentralized entities prioritize speed and adaptability, thriving in dynamic industries where rapid change is the norm. Departmentalisation is another important concept in organizational design. It's the architectural blueprint that dictates how roles are grouped within an organization, and these groupings can be influenced by a variety of factors. When we consider the architecture of large corporations or even medium-sized businesses, the manner in which roles are compartmentalized provides valuable insights into the company's operations, priorities, and strategy. Functional departmentalization is one of the most prominent ways of organizing roles. By grouping jobs based on their function, companies can achieve specialized units that are adept in specific domains. For instance, a sales department focuses solely on selling, a HR department on employee management, and a finance department on fiscal health and reporting. Such specialization fosters efficiency and expertise, but it may also silo departments, sometimes limiting interdepartmental collaboration. Another form is product-based departmentalization. This approach clusters teams around specific products or services. For a tech company, there might be one team dedicated to a specific software application and another to a different product. This structure helps in creating product-specific expertise, but can also result in resource duplication across different product teams, where you have multiple people performing the same role on different teams. A third form is process or customer-based departmentalization. Some firms structure their teams around specific business processes or customer groups. For instance, a company might have separate teams for client acquisition and client retention, or a business might have separate teams catering to corporate clients and another for individual consumers. This approach can finely tune teams to specific customer needs or process efficiencies, but can also pigeonhole employees into narrow roles. And then there's geographic departmentalization. For multi-regional or global companies, it might make sense to group roles based on geographic territories. Such an arrangement recognizes and respects regional differences, be it in terms of consumer behavior, regulatory nuances, or cultural subtleties. While this can lead to localized expertise, there's also a potential risk of creating mini-companies within the broader organization, sometimes leading to inconsistencies in brand representation or service quality. Regardless of the method chosen, the goal of departmentalization is clear: to streamline operations and harness collective expertise. The span of control in organizational design refers to the number of subordinates a manager can effectively oversee. For instance, in a tech startup with a flat structure, a senior developer might manage a large team of junior developers, allowing for streamlined decision-making processes and fostering a culture of autonomy. This is an example of a wide span, where you have a large number of employees reporting to a single supervisor. Having many subordinates under one manager, like in our tech startup example, is cost-effective, reduces managerial layers, and boosts organizational efficiency. It can also encourage employee autonomy, since managers can't closely supervise everyone. However, it does have its drawbacks. With many direct reports, the senior developer might struggle to give individualized mentorship, risking potential skill gaps in the team. Conversely, think of a large national bank where a branch manager might only supervise a few department heads, ensuring that high-risk decisions are thoroughly vetted. This is an example of a narrow span. A narrow span is often beneficial because managers can give more attention to each subordinate. For instance, our bank's branch manager can dive deep into the specifics of each department, offering tailored solutions and guidance. But it requires more layers of management, which can complicate the chain of command. For instance, a loan approval might take a long time to get approved because it has to pass through multiple hands. Additionally, because you need more layers of management, a narrow span of control often costs more due to higher managerial salaries. It might also result in excessive monitoring, reducing the initiative of department heads. Let's now conceptualize these 4 dimensions of organizational design in a more holistic manner. There are essentially 2 dominant models in the field, each representing opposite ends of a continuum. At one end, we encounter the mechanistic model, often equated with traditional bureaucracy or hierarchical design. This model represents a structure of high specialization and formality, centralized decision-making, and narrower spans of control. Here, the organizational structure is rigid, with clear lines of authority and a highly compartmentalized setup. Entities such as government institutions, the military, or large corporations typically exemplify this model. Contrasting this, at the other end of the spectrum, we find the organic model. This model is more characteristic of smaller firms, innovative startups, and other such entrepreneurial ventures. Here, the structure is fluid, with cross-functional and cross-hierarchical teams, wide spans of the control, and shared decision-making processes. The organic model encourages a level of autonomy and independence, fostering adaptability, flexibility, and innovation in a way that's integral to their competitive strategy. Based on a comprehensive review in 2017, there's a compelling case to be made about the merits and drawbacks of organic versus mechanistic organizational structures. Organic designs are quite intriguing. At a broad level, these structures are much better equipped to adapt and respond to changes, making them invaluable in dynamic environments. Furthermore, when we talk about innovation, organic designs often have an edge. However, this isn't a one-size-fits-all. The effectiveness can vary based on the product in question or its stage of development. From an employee perspective, organic structures generally fare better. Typically, there's higher job satisfaction, greater commitment, and a better interpersonal experience, which includes facets like trust, mentorship, and cooperation. However, it's not universal. Take the military, for instance. Given its inherent nature, a strict hierarchical structure is expected and accepted. Individuals drawn to the military often have an understanding or even a preference for its structured environment. And this preference can be influenced by how well an individual's values and expectations align with their job and the organization, the person-job fit and person-organization fit factors. On the flip side, mechanistic or hierarchical structures that are often associated with bureaucracy present their own set of challenges. The data consistently shows that compared to organic designs, mechanistic structures are more prone to issues like counterproductive work behaviors and unethical actions. What are the reasons for this? Employees in such setups might often feel stifled or dissatisfied, leading to these undesirable outcomes. In response, these organizations tend to amp up monitoring and control measures to curb such behaviors, which can be seen as a symptom of the deeper issues inherent in such structures. So while there's a clear inclination towards organic structures for numerous reasons, it's also evident that context matters. Certain situations and environments might still warrant a more mechanistic approach, but with it comes a set of challenges that organizations need to be mindful of. What are some of the contextual factors that influence how an organization should be designed? One important contextual factor is the organization's core strategy. Let's say an organization adopts an innovation strategy. Here, the emphasis on pioneering. Apple's introduction of the iPhone in 2007 serves as an example here. They weren't just launching a product, they were redefining an entire industry. The process necessitated an immense amount of research, development, and ingenuity. Such ventures require environments where creativity flows freely and hierarchies don't stifle innovation. Hence, organizations like Apple, especially in their early stages, benefit from an organic structure that allows them agility and adaptability to turn groundbreaking ideas into reality. On the other end of the spectrum is the cost minimization strategy, often referred to as the defender approach. Bunnings Warehouse embodies this strategy. While Bunnings does offer a diverse range of products, their primary selling point is their competitive pricing, achieved through bulk purchasing and efficient distribution networks. For such an operation, a mechanistic structure is essential, where processes are streamlined, standardized, and replicated across their numerous locations. And then we have the imitation strategy, or analyzer approach. A great example of this is Aldi. Rather than trying to completely reinvent the wheel, Aldi introduced a streamlined and cost-effective shopping experience, offering many products similar to popular brands, but with their unique spin and at competitive prices. For Aldi to effectively implement this strategy, they required an organization structure that was both organic and mechanistic. The organic component allowed them the flexibility to adjust and tweak product offerings based on consumer feedback. In contrast, the mechanistic side enabled the brand to maintain its global efficiencies, strict product control, and consistent store layouts across its outlets. This balanced approach has played a significant role in Aldi's success. So the choice of organizational design depends in a large part on the organization's vision and market positioning. It also depends on the organization's size. Smaller companies, especially in their early stages, often lean toward organic designs. This structure promotes rapid innovation, adaptability, and a flexible approach to business challenges. For instance, in its formative years, Facebook highly valued its organic setup, allowing for swift decision-making and innovation. Like many startups, it aimed to remain nimble, ensuring it could swiftly respond to market changes and cement its initial position. However, as businesses gain traction and expand, their structural needs evolve. Over time, they inherently gravitate towards a more mechanistic design. This isn't necessarily a strategic shift, but rather a natural consequence of their growth. A growing organization eventually requires specialized roles, a clear hierarchical blueprint, and formalized regulations to continue operating efficiently. For a company aiming to establish its dominance in the market, size and scale become critical. But growing also means things get more complex. That's why, as they grow, companies often shift to have clear rules and structures. This way they can manage the complexities that come with being a big company while still taking advantage of the benefits that come from producing things on a large scale. Returning to the Facebook example, as the company expanded and its user base surged, it found the need to transition from its agile roots. Adopting a defender role emphasizing growth and market dominance became crucial. While such a transition might sacrifice some of the agility inherent in an organic structure, it's a trade-off that empowers the company to operate successfully on a large scale. Another major factor that can shape the way a company is structured is technology. Let's consider two examples to make this clearer. Think about the assembly line in a car manufacturing plant. Each worker on the line has a specific repetitive task, perhaps fitting a door or attaching a wheel. The process is predictable and doesn't change much from car to car. Because the technology and tasks here are routine and not complex, it's easier to set firm guidelines and procedures for every step. So a mechanistic structure often works better when technology and tasks are simple and routine. Now contrast that with a tech startup developing a new virtual reality software. Here the technology is cutting edge and rapidly changing. Developers might have to continuously adapt, learning about the latest advancements and tweaking the product accordingly. There isn't always a clear, predefined way to go about tasks because they're innovating as they go. For such a complex and ever-evolving work, a more flexible, organic design is often more effective. Finally, organizational design is often swayed by broader environmental factors such as government policies, market changes, and other external forces. Research, often grounded in case studies, indicates that as the environment becomes more complex and unpredictable, organizations favor a cohesive, integrated, mechanistic design with less differentiation within the organization.